Aha, there we go. I don't know why that was messed up. That's very annoying. All right, now I gotta go check all of my scenes to make sure. All right, he's still working this scene and this scene and this one. Yep. Okay. Weird. Very weird. Oh. Well, thanks to her for that information. That's awkward. All right, we're back. We got some technical difficulties today, which is weirdly annoying because I thought I had all this figured out, but I guess not. All right, so today we are working on guns, getting VR guns working. So over in Unity, I've got so what we did last week was we had this balloon pop game set up, and we can pop all the balloons with either a raycast gun, which shoots just pure raycast, nothing physics involved, well, besides the raycast physics stuff, and it'll hit the balloon. The balloons all have a collider on them, and when they get that raycast, they trigger an event, and that is what progresses the game. Same thing with the physics gun, except the physics gun shoots out, right now it's a plane. I want to swap it out with an axe that I got from the community, but I did not bring that on before the stream because I was rushing. So I might bring that on after this one, because I don't want to open up anything and show y'all some private info. So I may do that later, or maybe I can do that off screen. Who knows? Whatever. But today we are going to be working on reloading. So these guns have a magazine attached to them. And so these are actually just guns that I got from I think it's called the Synthi Prototype Pack. Here, it'll say it in here. Polygon Starter. So if you just search Polygon Starter into the Unity asset store, it will pop up. It's a free asset, and it comes with comes with a bunch of like walls and doors and those kinds of things in order to build little prototype games. It also comes with a plane, and it comes with a couple of guns. So these two, it came in the pack, and then this one, excuse me, this one is just Unity's kind of default gun that they call it a blaster that shoots off a little particle effect. And we can actually get rid of that one because we don't need it anymore. And so these two guns, they both have magazines over here on the back for this one, and then this one has a magazine up here on top. And so we want to first be able to take the magazines off and put them back on, and then have it register with the gun of how many rounds are still available in the magazine, and then have the gun basically behave correctly depending on how many rounds the magazine has and all that good stuff. And we may set it up a little bit differently too, just to kind of show y'all the difference between coding one versus the other. So coding this one, the magazine may, since it's a raycast gun, we may just have it be basically a big battery pack, and once the battery runs out, or if the magazine is in or out, so once you take the magazine out, you may not be able to shoot at all, and once you put it in, now it's loaded, ready to go. But with the other one, we may set it up so that you have to rack around, and so these guns both are also set up to, if I can click on it, there we go, have a reciprocating action, like pump action kind of thing. And so we may set those up to actually work. And so you have to, in the physicalized ones, we'll pretend it's actually putting like a ball in a hopper or something, like pretend this is like a paintball gun or something, and you actually have to rack it in order for it to work, versus this one, it may just automatically work, and then you have to pump it every time to shoot it, something like that, just to show different ways of doing things. So first things first, well, let me snap that back in there. We need to have this be able to detach. And in order to do that, we're going to go into the prefab here. And then this is going to end up being a separate object, but we want to maintain the position of where it is. And so we're going to create an empty child. And this is going to be mag insert point. All right, let's call it mag socket actually. And then we'll drag it back out. So it's not a child, but now it retains the same position. And then we are going to actually take this water gun to refill all the way out. So in order to do that, we'll have to actually just copy this out here. So I'll just paste it and then move it out here. And then inside of the prefab, we'll delete it so it would go away. And then we still have it because it's out here. And then this one is going to turn into a magazine object. And the way I like to do this is separating the, just like you guys have seen me do with every other object in this project, we're going to separate the actual physics and visuals from the object itself. And so that's why I created a child. So we're going to have this one be the actual magazine. So this will be magazine number 2. We'll just call it mag 2 because I don't know if that's how you spell magazine. Awkward. And then this becomes the parent object, so I'll drag it back out and then basically swap it, but now it retains the correct position and everything. And so this doesn't have anything. This is actually just going to have a rigid body and a grab interactable there. And then underneath here, we're going to duplicate this object, and then one of them is going to become the graphics, so GFX, and then we're going to delete the mesh collider, and then the other one is going to become the physics, and then we'll delete the renderer and the render filter. And so now we've separated physics from graphics, and if we ever want to come back and change out what the graphics look like, or if we want to adjust the collider to be something that's a little more performant or something like that, we can do that without having to mess up the visuals, or we can do that without having to mess up the actual object itself. All right, so that's all set up, and then we will double check all of the settings here just to make sure. So we don't need to track scale, so that'll help our performance a little bit. Just uncheck that. And then the attach mode, we don't actually, we'll do attach mode near, which basically means if we grab it from a raycast, it will automatically snap to our hands to where we're holding it. And then we can do dynamic attach too. I actually wonder if dynamic attach will work with near, if it'll like snap to, but snap to the closest. I've never actually tried that, but we can actually, we'll just not do dynamic attach for right now. We'll come back to that. So this is so it is now grabbable, but if we hit play now, it would kind of drop and separate from the gun because it's not set up to actually attach yet. So now also we need to turn this into a prefab. So we'll go to County Fair, prefabs, interactables, and this will be mag 2 for gun 2. That's why I named it 2. And then mag 1 will be for water gun 1. So that one over there. Let me just double check and make sure the streams are doing all right, since I had a little bit of a hiccup right at the beginning. Okay. Oh, so Twitch chat's been going, but they haven't been coming through. What's going on? Oh, I think I have to re-log into Twitch over on my chat settings. That's annoying. I added 2-factor authentication to my Twitch just because I do that with everything. I'm a bit of a security nerd. That's a side of me you haven't seen, but I since I'm starting to do all the Twitch stuff and I only started it up last week, I have added 2-factor authentication to it, and now it's logged me out of everything. So when I thought Twitch chat was coming up above, it's only Facebook and Instagram, or not Instagram, Twitter. Not that anyone ever talks to me on Twitter. We are live on Twitter, but of course, I don't even know. Let's see. Is anybody actually watching on Twitter? Well, we've had 7 views. I don't know if we have anyone talking. If you're on Twitter and you see this, do a chat. I'm gonna chat myself. We can see if that actually pops up. But yeah, I know. I stream to Twitter, but so far it has been the least received, the least well-received platform. Let me open up this guy, and then I don't want to sign in necessarily, just activate source test. Oh yes, it is going to make me sign in. Interesting. So I use KeyPass, which is a local password manager. Is it going to let me log in without showing everybody? Well, it's not going to show the passwords. They're all hidden regardless. Okay, there we go. So I can copy you. And then where did you go? I'm just doing this because I want to. What do you mean that username is unavailable? No, I don't want to sign in. I want to log in. Rude. Ridiculous. Okay. Whatever. We're gonna do it the old school way, where I'll pop out the Twitch chat and put it up next to my OBS, and then we'll just carry on because this is too much. There we go. I can see you side by side now. You're fine. I can feel myself. Okay, there we go. It does work. I did get it. Nice. I think you guys you were too quick on the gun, maybe. You were talking before I got everything set up. Okay. Everything is merged nicely now. We're all I took like 3 days off of streaming and I've forgotten everything that I know. What's up, Loxicon? Loxicon? That's fun. Anyway, where was I? All right, we need to attach this to the actual gun, and we're going to do that with a socket. So we need to add a socket onto the ray gun prefab, and we're going to do it right here where this mag socket is, because we set that up. Hello, dog. So we need XR socket interactable. The interaction manager is going to be automatically set. The interaction layer mask we can set to nothing, and then we're going to add a layer called mag2. There we go. Dog. She's a sweet puppy. She has too much energy. She's ridiculous. Nope, not teleport. Please don't do teleport. Mag2. Okay, handedness, we don't care. Doesn't have a handedness. So this interaction layer mask basically only allows mag2 to be dropped into here, because that makes sense. We don't want we don't want the other mag to be able to be put in there. The starting selected interactable is actually going to be a magazine. So we want to drag and drop this guy in here, and then the starting mag interactable, we're just gonna child it to there. And then drag and drop. There we go. So that means when the game starts, when we actually start, we're going to automatically be attached to this mag, which means we'll delete the other one in the hierarchy. That's okay. We'll get that. I'm messing up my. There we go. All right. Keep selected value. I think the rest of this should be good. Do we want it to snap while it's hovering? This will cause Z fighting with the hover mesh visuals. Not recommended to use both options. We'll leave that off. The scale we want to 1, that's fine. And then socket is active, yes. And then interactor events will actually mess with this when we go into the code. So this should work. Really, all we're trying to do is get the mag working, and then we'll move this second one. Oh, what the heck? Why are you all the way down there? I don't know why. Okay, let's reset that. All right, Now we're good. I don't know why it was way off in space. I think that was because I added it and then childed it to the object, maybe. So the idea is we should be able to grab both of these and kind of interchange them and take them off and put them back on. One more thing we need to do is add the interaction layer mask for this to be mag 2 and default. So default means it can also interact with our raycast and all that kind of stuff. And then this one, well, we'll just change the prefab actually. So mag 2, beautiful. And then I'll save that and let's jump into link mode, give it a little test. And then if this works, we can set up the actual scripting for it to tell it how many bullets it has and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I'm still in my last project. Get out of here. Link mode, launch. Loading. I was doing performance tests today for work, and you can get a lot less polygons in your scene than Meta advertises, or at least I can get a lot less than they advertise. It is difficult to get 1.5 billion polygons. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's dancing. All right, I think it's it's popping balloons. That's kind of hilarious. Hey, come back. Hey. All right, so we got some kind of collider issue, so we'll have to fix that. All right, can I grab the? Oh, I can't even grab. Why can't I grab you? All right, there are issues, people. That can be part of the county fear version. So we had our Q&A call in the VR Creator Club today, and one of the ideas that Gridlock suggested is to actually have a county fear, like a horror theme of this. So this is the VR County Fair project, and to have a VR County Fear project, which would be that would be terrifying to have this in there. This is wild. Okay, so what are the colliders doing? So clearly these two colliders don't like each other. So we're going to, I think we already put the main, yeah, so this is on the gun layer. So we'll just have the magazine layer. We'll create a new, oh, we already had a magazine layer. Beautiful. And then, because we thought ahead, woohoo. You know, in Job Simulator, when you can use the game window to use a camcorder to show a different camera angle from the VR view, how can I build something like that? That one's actually relatively simple. So what you would do is you have a separate camera, which will be a little expensive. It will bring your frame rate down a little bit. But you have a second camera in the scene that's not your main camera, and then you have that set to display to a render texture, and then you can just have put the render texture on the camcorder, and then the other camera can even be a grabbable if you want it to be, and then you can move that around, and then it displays to that render texture, and so that's how you could do that. Gridlock, you're giddy to make it, but you have to work on your real game, but taking notes anyway. We'll get there. I want to go through and over the next few weeks publish this version of it, the actual version of it, for free on the Meta Store, and then come back in like August, and then come back and do a horror update to it. I think that'll be fun. Lexicon, yeah, but the main game window shows the camcorder view, while the VR still has the ego view. When I tried to build that, the camera switch would also switch to the VR view. So your second camera is displaying to the wrong view. So you can actually adjust that. So the main camera here, where is it? It's the output is what we're looking for. Yeah, here we go. So output. So you would add a render texture here and set this to be the render texture that you're displaying to, and then you're probably getting that issue because the other camera is also set to render to display 1. And so I would change this to like display 2 or 3 or 8 or whatever, and then have it be none for target eyes. So this would be your second camera, would be some other display, not display 1. So display 1, when you're in link mode, will show to the, or in PCVR mode, it'll show to your screen actually. And then if you do display 2, it will not, it'll show somewhere else. And then target eye will be, actually, it'll be, I would put it on like display 8 if you don't want it to ever show up, because it depends on how many monitors someone has. So like if you have 3 monitors like I have set up, it'll be display 1, 2, and 3, and then your VR headset will also be a display. So that's the reason you're doing that. But yeah, just set none and display like 8 or something, and then your output texture will just be the render texture of what you want to show, and that should work. Sure, no problem. All right, we're doing physics settings because our gun was dancing. So we're going to physics settings, and then we want the gun and magazine to not interact. Not the most realistic. If we were building like a game to publish, my dog is just staring at me right now. She's like, please let me go outside. So I will do that. 1 second. She just stands outside my door and just like stares at me until I let her out. And then she comes over and starts like nudging, like as I'm typing, like nudging my elbows, and it is the most annoying thing in the world, but she knows how to get what she wants. So in an ideal world, if we were building this for like a game we were going to publish for money, I would send this back to the designer and have them clean up the actual colliders so that they don't interfere. But in this particular case, I'm not super worried about the realism of having your magazine be able to hit the gun. So we are just going to disregard, and magazines don't hit guns in this world. So over in mag, this is tagged with magazine. Actually, this is going to be a default layer. Yes, change children. And then the physics layer needs to be tagged with magazine. And then did we have a magazine tag? No, just a bottle and a projectile. So that's fine. But the layers always need to be on the physics of the thing. So we will save that and try again. Give it another go. Oh, did you turn off? Come on now. Okay, there we go. Your cat's the same way. When she wants attention, she'll put her paws on your armrest and then meow until you react and give pets. If you ignore her, she gets louder until she basically screams. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You keep thinking an actual paper magazine setting getting rolled up and loading into a gun. That would be pretty cool, actually. That is a good idea. A paper magazine. Oh, we couldn't pick up the magazine either. That's an issue too. But the gun works better. I forgot about this. All right, we can't pick up the gun or the magazine. Why? I'm sure it has to do with the interaction layer mask. So we have default, and we have mag 2. So let's go to our controllers, the XR controller group, the near far interactor, interaction layer mask, default. Okay, that should be fine. Oh, it's the this happened with the, oh, thanks for the follow, Tramdy. Thank you. Let's see. It is, where is it? There it is. The physics. So this is an issue we had with the gun. And I don't know why. So we didn't want to be able to grab the balloon. That was why we did this. Except the balloons aren't interactables. So, oh, we didn't want to be able to grab the projectiles aren't interactable. Let's make this everything because this is where we're coming into issues, is because the XR interaction layers are totally different from the physics interaction layers. And the physics interaction layers, when we changed the layer to magazine, it took it off of the allowed list for the raycast for the actual object, and then also probably took it off the allowed list for the poke interactor as well. Actually, this one is still set to everything, so we should be good there. But the near far interactor, it was on a particular mask, but we reset it back, and then we'll reset the right hand as well, because I will forget about that. Everything and everything. I don't remember why I changed that to not everything. Yeah, we'll figure it out a little bit later. We'll discover why I changed that in a minute. But I don't remember now, so whatever. Let's hit play and see what we got this time. So we should be able to pick up the magazine. That was our issue currently. And then we should be able to take the magazine out as long as we can pick it up. All right, turn. Okay, so I can pick it up. And it does snap to my hand. And then if I grab the gun, I can still two-hand the gun. Oh, and then voila! So we can take the magazine out. And then we don't get a visual, which is kind of annoying, but oh, I know why. Aha. So we can't reinsert the magazine, and that is because we don't have a collider on our socket. We need a collider on the socket. Where's the gun? All right, back to the ray gun. So we've got, I think it needs to be a trigger. It's not a collider. So on the socket actually needs the attached transform is going to be itself. That's fine. The hover mesh material, can't hover mesh material. Okay, so this just needs to be material we want to show. We'll do the snapping. And then I do think we need a trigger area or trigger box, but it doesn't say in here. Like, it doesn't give me a reference to actually grab. We weren't getting any errors. I'm going to try to add just directly onto the object, we'll add a capsule collider. We'll make it a trigger, make it very small. And then we want it on the X or Z axis actually. The height's going to be like 0.1 and the radius is going to be 0.05. Yeah, we'll have the radius be 0.1 and the height will be 0.3. Yeah, so as long as we're in, I don't know if y'all can see that, but as long as we're in this area, it will snap back. We'll do 0.4 for the height, just so it covers the whole thing. There we go. And then it is a trigger. So I think that should work. That was how the old setup was with the 2.0 version. I'm not 100% sure how it actually is supposed to be working on the 3.0 version, because there wasn't a little spot for me to put the actual trigger for me to drag and drop and do a reference. So we will see. All right, so grab, I can take it out. Oh, there we go. Sweet. So we get this little like blue outline that shows us, all right, you're within the range to actually re-snap it. And then when I let go, it does like a nice little almost animation into it too, which is very nice. That feels good. Nice. Beautiful. All right, cool. I like it. And so you could actually turn this off so it doesn't show if you don't want that, but I like it. So as we get close. Boop, there we go. Beautiful. Sweet. Now we just need to code up the, oh, actually, let's see if the other one works. So the idea is you've got a bunch laying out on the table. So you're like, boom, 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 boom. Oh, I'm out of ammo. Drop that one. Put this one in. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, oh. We are parented. I think that's why that's happening. Okay. See that? This is why you playtest all of the options. Ooh, this is another interesting one. So if I grab the, all right, let's just put this one back in because it's complaining. So if I take a magazine out and then I drop the gun on top of another magazine, it will reload. So, so that is also something we need to investigate. Ooh. I had sunflower seeds today. I haven't had sunflower seeds in a while. Like, it reminds me of my baseball days back in high school and middle school, and they're dry. That's a tactical reload when you just drop your gun onto the magazine. All right, I feel like there was an option where it had to be held or had to be actively selected in order to sock it, but I don't know where that is. Allow hover to activate. Okay, no, this is the near far interactor. We don't want that. Get out of here. All right, first thing. Oh, we're still playing, that's why. I was like, what's going on? All right, the gun ray, we need to unparent the, actually, we'll just delete this mag. Get rid of that. I don't want to. Oh, okay. Well, we're not going to delete it. We'll just put it here. Just put it at the bottom. We're still referenced. Everything's worked. Because I want it, like, when I bring the prefab of the gun itself out, I want to also bring the magazine with it. I want that to also be an option. So we're going to just unparent it from the socket, and that should be fine. All right, disable visuals when the interactor part of the interaction group is incapable of interacting due to active interaction by another interactor in the group. I don't know what that means. Keep selected target valid. Keep selecting the target when not touching or pointing to it after initially selecting it. This is recommended. Set up the value to true for grabbing objects, false for teleportation. So if you're using sockets for teleportation somehow, show interactables meshes at sockets attach point or hover or on hover. Yeah, so this is if you didn't want the highlight to show, you just disable this, and then hover socket snapping. Okay, socket is active. I'm not seeing anything that will prevent the object from being grabbed. Let's see if there's an option on the actual object itself. So it can be selected. Let's do dynamic attach. I like that. And then I don't know. I'm not seeing it. This is a tricky one. How do we make it so that the object cannot be grabbed unless it is actively being held? Or I guess not even actively being held. That's a weird one. I think we're gonna have to do some coding for this. Yeah, because we don't want it to snap if they just touch. We want it to, I think we're going to, so what I'm thinking is we're going to have to change the layer that the magazine is whenever we are holding it. So I think when we grab the magazine, we're going to have to change the interaction layer of it to, or basically add the magazine interaction layer to it so that it can only be snapped whenever we're actively holding it. And then, so whenever we're actively holding it or the magazine is holding it. Yeah. And then, and we'll do this on the magazine object itself, so that we're going to have to make a magazine script anyway, because we're going to want to keep track of the amount of bullets that we have. And honestly, that's really it. But we'll need a script to keep track of that. And we need to, so in that case, we need to also on that same script, keep track of, have we been picked up? If we are currently being held by either a socket or by a object. Oh, also prevent it from inserting. Yes, I am on a yoga ball. Is this annoying? If me bouncing up and down, is that annoying? This is I sit on a yoga ball normally when I'm working during the day because it helps me keep my like posture straight up and down, and so it's a lot. So I don't like get like nerd neck like this. Helps me have a good posture. And like there was a little while there where I was sitting, because I'll sit in front of a computer for probably 14 hours a day, something like that. I'll take maybe a 2-hour break to play with my kid and hang out with my wife, and then I wake up at the computer for an hour or two, eat breakfast for an hour, and then I work for 8 hours, hang out with the fam for another 2 hours, and then I'm back here for two more hours or so. So I'm working sitting in front of a computer a lot. So I sit on a yoga ball because I ended up like hurting my back at some point just because I was sitting too much, and then I hurt my back because I was standing up too much. So I have a stand-up desk, and I was like, okay, well, my back's kind of hurting when I'm sitting down, so I'll stand up, and that also will hurt your back, surprisingly enough, because if you use the standing desk, but you don't like stand up and sit down, your muscles in your back will actually get really tight, and so it will start to hurt your back while you're standing. And so also I'll like kind of like lean on one leg or the other, and that also like was messing up my hips and stuff. So yoga ball seems to be the perfect mix. But yes, if it's annoying, I will try to be more still. I start bouncing when I get excited about stuff. All right, where were we going with this? Yes, we need to make a mag script. That was pretty much the sum of that. So let's go into here, scripts, balloon popping game still. We'll create a new scripting mono behavior. This is going to be mag behavior. Open that up. OBS is not swapping back, which is very rude. That one. All right, so I think OBS, yeah, so OBS does swap when I go to Unity, but when I swap over to Writer, it does not swap correctly, which is very rude of it, but it's what it is. How long have I been making VR games? So I've been making VR content for 5 years now. So I like put on a VR, like one of those really crappy VR headsets that you slide your phone into and watch some 360 YouTube videos, like probably I think it was before COVID. So it was like 2018 or 2019, and was like, okay, how do I make this? This is absolutely the future. And then I started making there was no like YouTube content or anything up at that point. And so I was like, how do I make this? Like, this is really, really cool. And this is going to be the future. Absolutely. And was like looking into how to do all of that. And there's nothing on the internet at that point. So I was like, I've got a little bit of film knowledge and background. Like I've got the lights set up and the cameras, like I can do that. And so I ended up learning how to do it, and then just filming tutorials as I was building it. And then from doing that, after doing that for like a couple years, I got asked to help out with a couple of games. So I've worked on a game called Sail VR, and then I've worked on a game called Tactical Assault VR. Those are like the 2 published games that I've worked on. And then I've been working for the last 2 years for a startup where we do like more B2B type of stuff, or like using AI models to generate super efficient, performant renderings of stuff that people can see in VR. So that's my 9 to 5. But so technically I've been building in VR, like specifically for VR, for like 5 years now. But I've been doing software for, well, I was the kid who made instead of PowerPoint presentations when in like 11th grade, or not 11th grade, when I was 11 to like 6th grade, I was, instead of making PowerPoint presentations, I was the one making a website to show off my like country project or whatever, because both my parents are software engineers. So my dad worked at Microsoft. My mom worked for as a senior dev at another like refrigeration company, and then a few other like companies. And so I just kind of grew up in that space, and like my brain, like I just was taught to be very logical from the beginning, from the get-go. And so I've been doing this for a little bit. It's been cool. Like, it's been really rewarding. And honestly, all of the opportunities that I've had in VR have come from the YouTube channel, just from me putting myself out there. So I highly encourage anyone who's wants to get into the space, or wants to honestly get into any space, to put content out there. Like, as you build stuff, it doesn't have to be a YouTube channel, but just have a blog, or just post on Twitter or Blue Sky or on Reddit, or just like kind of talk about what you're working on, or LinkedIn even, just so that when you're looking for jobs, or eventually jobs will come to you if you like post interesting enough content, you get there. And it'll take a little while. It took me over a year to get 1,000 subscribers, and then the next year after that, I think I got up to like 20 or 30,000. So it was quite the exponential growth. And then I took 2 years off, and that hasn't helped the channel. So we're back now. I'll be very interested to see this time next year what the channel is at, because we just crossed 40,000. But I'm posting shorts every day, and I'm getting to the point where I'm streaming almost every day, and I want to post a tutorial video. This is my stack of put them on note cards as people like give me ideas. This is my my video ideas that I'm planning on doing, and I want to try to do at least one a week, but probably a couple a week, and then building bigger projects here on the streams, which will be cool. Like recreating like Echo Arena like on stream, I think would be super fun. So that's the idea. It is a lot of time in VR. I started with the Rift S was my first headset. So I think that released in 2019 or 2018. But that was my first like actual headset that wasn't like a slide in headset. It's actually this. So that one's the one that I started in. This is actually ironically a green screen, but it's a picture of my background. So, but it lets me do this. But this one was it's like a crappy $5 headset that I bought. That was the first one that I ever bought, and you slide your phone into it and you could watch like YouTube videos. And then I think the Rift it's either that one or that one. One of them's the Quest Pro, one of them's the Rift. I can't tell. And then that's the Valve Index. So those are, and then I've got the Quest 2S or Quest 2, and then the Quest 3 up here. Those are all the headsets I have at the moment. There are black ants on you. I'm wearing all black clothing. Oh no. It's gonna be difficult to tell. Just strip. That's the answer. No clothes. No clothes is the answer. Nobody clip that. All right. Mag behavior. Where were we? You guys are getting me off track. So we need to keep track of how many bullets are in this magazine. We probably want to keep track of how many bullets this magazine started with, and then also how many bullets, like basically the max capacity and the current capacity. So we'll do a serialized field of the max capacity. So this will be a private int, because we can't have half bullets, otherwise you get a jam. Private int of max bullets. And then this one will be a serialized field. Whoa, what? Didn't want to do that. Private int current bullets. And we're making that a serialized field because we might want to set it in the inspector instead of just always starting with max bullets. So, and then we want to have a, probably like a load and unload option. So we'll have a public void load, and then this will be like a full, do a public void unload, and then we'll do a public, so we'll do a load unload. I don't know if we'll actually end up using this, but load all. So we'll do a load and unload. We could even do an unload all if we wanted to, but you could kind of see yourself using something like this for like Into the Radius's super advanced reloading mechanics, where if you put a box of bullets up to a magazine, it will load it one by one over a period of time. And so you could basically just say, whenever a box of ammo is touching this magazine, we're going to call load every second, and that would be handled on the box of ammos thing. What's up, Ameripon? Thanks for the follow. But that is that's the idea. Dumb Dash, welcome in. How are you doing? Make you a fire an event, or at least party a special sound when the player fires the last bullet on the magazine, so they don't have to wait to hear an empty sound to reload. Yeah, that's exactly the idea. Oh, that's also so there's a lot of considerations to take into account with magazines and bullets. I could do a whole video on just guns and reloading and that kind of stuff. One, because I am super into gun. I have 2 guns next to me right now. 2 real guns, and then like a few airsoft guns that I won't show on stream. But there's a lot of like kind of stuff you have to do. So when you're shooting a real gun, there's a difference in when you shoot the last round, it feels different. Because without even like looking, so it feels different and it sounds different when you shoot the last round out of your magazine, because it's empty. So every time like a normal piston driven gun, it will, when you shoot, the gas pressure builds up, pushes the magazine back, and then racks the next round. But if there's no round, it pushes back, but it doesn't rack, so the recoil actually feels a little different. Yes, I am very 2A. Happy you're back making VR content. I'm not sure if you remember, but I was on call with you 1 or 2. Dash does sound like it does ring a bell. 2 years ago. Ugh, that was a while. I've had a lot of calls with a lot of people at that point. But I love how you explain everything as you do it. Very user friendly. Thank you. I have been told that I have a very good ability to break things down, and it might be doing it live, maybe taking a while. It's going to take us a while to actually build out stuff, because if I actually explain all of it, but I like to do it because I think these themselves could turn into videos, but also I just enjoy it because I remember what it was like when I was trying to learn how to do this stuff, and it was just very, very frustrating because all the documentation just wasn't covered enough. I feel like they were missing out on very important details that I had to learn, and I could figure it out because I'd been doing consulting for 3 or 4 years at that point, and every 3 months I would be on a new consulting project, and this was just normal software, not VR. This was before my VR days, and that is really what taught me how to learn software. So every 3 or 4 months I would be put on a new project, and this time it would be an Angular web front end where I'd have to learn Angular, and then the next project would be a C# SQL or C# server side rendering project, like middleware, and then the next project would be a SQL server that I'd have to learn, and it's like totally different tech stack every single time, and I'd have to like figure out how to learn really quickly. And so I can kind of break stuff down pretty easily, And I feel like I can also communicate that pretty well, but doing this live is very interesting. I'd love to see how an actual game dev works through problems. Yeah, that's the idea. So I am going through and building this out because it's a good like teaching tool, and also the VR creator course needs an update. So the current course in the classroom, so this is all the updated stuff going on behind the scenes that nobody sees, but the current interaction toolkit stuff is all using Unity. What are we using? 2021. I even thought it was 2022, but we're using 2021 and the XR Interaction Toolkit like 2.0 something. And so this needs a little bit of an update, and everyone's being super patient with me to go through and do the update. But that's the current state of the course. So we need to actually go through and update this. All right. What's my number one home defense gun? I have a suppressed 11.5 AR-15 sitting next to me. That's the one that's always in reach. And then upstairs I have a Glock 19. That's the one that I carry every day. I will appendix carry with a Glock 19 and a tourniquet. So if you ever see me in public, if I'm not at a convention and I have to go through metal detectors, if you ever see me in public, I do have a firearm on me. So I know, so when I play games with guns, I know, because I've done like competition shooting and stuff, and so I know how guns work on a very intimate level, and I am very, just the fact that I think Onward does this, or Contractors, I know Tactical Assault does this, and it drives me crazy. I think it's just a Hurricane VR thing, but the mag drop and the slide release buttons are backwards. The mag drop should be the lower button. The slide drop should be the upper button, because that's where your finger goes when you are dropping a mag. It's kind of like a lower button press, and then when you are dropping the slide, it is the upper button press. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the mag release, that's the button to drop the mag, but the slide rack, when you shoot the last round, your slide locks backwards, so you can easily put a new mag in, and then you drop the slide, it chambers the new round, and then you can keep firing without having to like do the pullback thing. And so those two buttons are backwards in Hurricane VR. So all games made with Hurricane VR have those backwards, and it drives me crazy. As a German, people talking about their everyday carry is still bizarre to me. Love AR-15s. You're Canadian? Yeah, this is I'm very, very much American. I could not move to another country just because I wouldn't be able to bring my guns with me. It would be very sad. My in-laws have a farm ranch kind of thing. They've got like 20 acres or something like that. And so I'll go out there and just like shoot. And he's got some metal targets, and he has a bunch of guns. My father-in-law used to run an ammunition company, and so he has a ridiculous amount of ammunition stocked up. You can't even insult anyone in Germany or the UK. Yes, we could take the stream down a whole new route. It is wild over there in Europe right now. But anyway, back to creating this. Okay, so every time we load, or when we load all, we just, this is all like really simple stuff in here. So when we load all, we just want to set the current bullets back to the max bullets. So max bullets is never going to change. So we're going to set, I would set this to a constant, but it'll make the serialized field go away. So we're not going to do that. Normally you wouldn't, like if this was like a real game, this probably wouldn't want to be a number that you would have designers mess around with. The max bullets, so like if it's a Glock 19 magazine, it's going to have 15 rounds. I guess you could have a Glock 17 magazine that has 17 rounds, also fits in Glock 19. That's a whole different thing. All right. And if we load, we'll just do current bullets plus if the current bullets is not already at the max. So if current bullets is equal to or greater than the max bullets, then we're going to return. You're gonna get onto me for that. Yeah, there we go. And then unload, same thing, but instead of this, if the current bullets is equal to or less than, less than or equal to 0, then we return, and then we'll do current bullets minus minus. Cool. So that all should be good to go. So now, so this is all going to be public, and when we load this into the gun needs to know about the magazine. So the magazine doesn't ever, so this is kind of like the isolation of responsibilities and stuff. So the magazine should never know about the gun that it's loaded into. It should only know about bullets and how many bullets it has, and if it can load another bullet or not. So we might actually do like unload be like a bool value or something. And this will be return true, and then this will be return false. So that way when the gun can know whether we have successfully unloaded a bullet or not. Yeah, I like that. And then this one, same thing, false, and this one return true. And this will return bool as well. And then load all is just always going to load all. There we go. Would you use the XR events to set a variable in the gun to hasmag equals true, or would you let the mag set it to the gun? So what I'm planning on doing is actually not even using the XR events. I'm going to have it so that whenever the mag gets inserted, so the gun is going to know about the socket, and then the gun is going to subscribe to the socket's select event. We can actually just do that now. So if we go over to it'll be the ray gun behavior. We may abstract this at some point, but we will. So in the gun, we want to have access to we'll do a private XR socket interactor. Socket interactor without the underscore, please. There we go. And then I thought I added you to my definitions. Whatever. All right, and then on start, we are going to public void start. We're going to say if the socket interactor is not equal to null, we want to subscribe to the socket interactors on select. So select entered, add listener, and then we will handle select entered, handle socket entered. Cool. And then same thing on destroy, private void on destroy, unsubscribe, because you always have to unsubscribe from whatever you subscribe to. So we will remove that listener. So the general idea here is to be, I need to add, still need to add this. There we go. So the general idea is we have a socket, we're going to subscribe to that socket, and then we're going to listen for when a mag is attached. And when the mag is attached, or if it's not attached, then we want to, then we know it is like a valid magazine, because we'll set those settings in the socket. And then we want to then access the magazine, the mag behavior script off of that. So then we can pull like how many bullets and stuff. Actually, we don't even pull how many bullets. Like the gun should never know how many bullets the mag has. The gun should just try to unload and try to load, or the gun's really never gonna try to load. But we could, have later stuff. So inside of here, we're gonna handle the socket entered. So we'll do that. So this will be a public, or actually private void handle socket entered. And the reason I'm doing no underscore is that's just like the naming convention I like to have. So if I do some variable, so the way I like to do it is public bool is available. So I'll do my variables like this. So if it is, and this just kind of helps me, I don't even know if this is like officially standard or not. I do know like so public variables are going to be always capitalized for me. So if it's publicly accessible from anywhere, it's going to be capitalized. If it is not public, if it's private, it's going to be lowercase. So and then also sometimes when you like bring in a, like here, if you bring in like this args here, this is going to be lowercase as well because it's a local variable. It's not even, it's, I guess, local. We can call it local. It's just like it only happens in this function here. And so I usually differentiate this to, this can be changed from an outside source and this cannot be changed from an outside source. And it helps me like differentiate like, okay, this is a inspector field versus this is like totally private and something I'm managing within this class. And so that's why. Something invokes an event, but nothing describes to it. Doesn't it cause an error? Yes, so you can, so before invoking an event, you can do, so this one's a little different. So this add listener is a little bit different than so this is like kind of this is a Unity event actually, which happens a little bit differently than the actual like system, like C# system events. But normally like when you do like an event, so if I did like socket interactor, I don't even know if it'll let me do this, invoke, and then it wants arguments or whatever, but normally you just add a question mark there and that'll solve your problem. So if I did this but nothing was subscribed to select entered, then it would cause an error. You are correct, but if you add a question mark in here, that kind of limits it and will basically just chop it off and not let it happen if nothing's subscribed to it. Oh no, my dog left the door open. She's so rude. It's cold. When I let the dog out, I always crack the door open so that she can like nuzzle it open and back in, but she never closes it. It's so rude. It's mainly so that she doesn't jump against the window because it's like a very loud boom, like because she's like 70 pounds. She's like a golden doodle. But yes. You can do a null check. You can do a null check before invoking with the question. Yes. So yeah, I just said what Beard said. That is correct. There's the secret time to fix a bunch of my code. I usually add a buffer event to guarantee something is subscribed to an event. Yeah, you just add a question mark before the period. Ta-da. Justin, will the course be longer than the old course on school? Probably, because we've already added, so far, we have added, so this originally, I've got all kinds of errors now. So this originally was just a very simple balloon popping game with one gun, the raycast gun, without any reloading and without any of the pump action stuff that we're going to add in as well. So we already have some extra stuff in here. The setup will be a little bit easier because we're using the template to set up. So that'll be a little bit shorter, but the content, the ring toss game turned out to be pretty similar to the existing one. The main difference between the XR Interaction Toolkit 2.0 and the XR Interaction Toolkit 3.0 is the near far interactor that is different. So it used to be the direct interactor and the ray interactor, and now it's conjoined into the near far interactor, and then you can just select, do you want it to attach near or attach far? or enable which one or the other. It's very nice. Very, very good improvement. I liked it because you're doing kind of both anyway. And so that was a very nice change. And there's also a poke interactor. I don't remember if that one was actually part of the 2.0 or not, but there's a poke interactor, and then movement is a little bit different. So you have locomotion, and so you have all these different locomotions. So each one is like their own game object. So you have turn, move, grab, move, teleportation, and climbing. You can actually turn climbing off. We're not going to use that currently. And you can just set those settings in here. And actually on the 3.1 version, they're adding in jumping and gravity to this too. So you'll have two more objects in locomotion. You'll have a jumping one. So they're adding jumping in natively, which will be very nice. And then they're having gravity in here too. So I'm not 100% sure how that worked. I tried to use it a little bit. I actually tried to upgrade this to Unity 6.1 and tried to use the 3.1 Interaction Toolkit version just so I could be a little bit ahead of the tutorials and stuff, so I don't have to keep updating it. That was the biggest annoyance of this project, is having to keep it updated, but I do it for y'all. And money. But the main thing is so the 3.1 XR Interaction Toolkit stuff was giving me errors, so I was trying to be sneaky and trying to be able to skip an update, but it wasn't letting me. Maybe they'll figure it out by the time I actually do like film the tutorials for all this. So they've got a couple weeks. We're gonna be working on this for a couple more weeks. All right, back to the code. And there we go. So we don't need that. So we're listening to whenever the mag gets inserted. So when the mag does get inserted, we want to have, so this is where we'll have a private variable. So I'll have a private, this will be an XR, actually this will be a mag behavior. And then we'll call this inserted mag. There we go. And then handle socket entered. And then we also want to subscribe to the exit event. So select exited as well. Handle socket. Oh, well, I haven't created it yet, so that's why it's not there. Exited. There we go. I can spell. Don't you worry. And then we'll just create that. You can delete that line. Okay. And then we want to also unsubscribe from it. Over on destroy. Remove listener. Cool. And then you can go down 1, 2. Cool. All right. So we're subscribing to when we're entered and when we're exit. So all we're really doing here is just setting the, so we're going to get the args. Args. I don't like the way they do arg0. And then we want the interactable. So this is the socket entered. So the socket is the interactor, and then the magazine is the interactable. So we want the interactable object, and then we're going to get component. Well, we'll do game object. Wait. We want the transform dot get component. Yeah, and so the mag behavior is going to be on the same game object as the XR grab interactable. So we can just do get component, and then we'll do mag behavior. So all makes sense in a second, I promise. And then this is going to be equal to the inserted mag. Beautiful. And then when the socket exits, we'll just do inserted mag equals null. So just cancel that. Wait, handle socket. Okay, yeah, we can get rid of this one because this one doesn't have any args. And then args. I don't like arg0. It's annoying. I guess you can add in multiple args, so arg0, arg1, arg2, whatever. Oh, you want to jump? It will be. It's coming. I don't know when it's coming, but well, it's in pre-alpha or early access or whatever they call it. Said the one who didn't want to write magazine. Yeah. I could not figure out how to spell magazine a few minutes ago, so I am. If my fingers don't know how to type it, I'm not going to be able to reason out M-A-G-A. I was like, I couldn't figure out if it was an S or a Z. My brain's just not. I'm not a literary genius at all. I'm not even like a literary competent. I'm like a literary dummy. I listen to books. I don't read books. I have been trying to read so fun fact, I've never actually read or watched the Lord of the Rings movies or books, and I have been trying to read through. I did finish The Hobbit. I read it I actually did read it on Kindle. Normally when I'm going through when I read a book, I listen to it, or it's a textbook that I can flip through and find a particular reference. I have a lot of textbooks that I read the actual text, but if it's like a novel or some kind of story, I usually just have to listen to it because my brain, I read so slow that it's just, I don't know, it's very annoying. Even my wife was like, she was reading off my Kindle as I was reading through it, and she's like, goodness, you're so slow. I finished this page like a while ago. So, oh, don't worry, I had to write business over 1,000 times in methods because I had a buggy writer version. After I finished, I couldn't even say it without butchering. Oh man. Oh boy. Yeah, once you write a word over enough, it just looks wrong to you, and you could just never say it correctly ever again. Oh man. Okay, so we are getting the mag. Okay, cool. So we're doing all of that correctly, and so now we just need to modify the shoot. So every time we shoot, we first, before we even do the raycast, need to see if there's more rounds in the magazine. So if first there needs to be an inserted magazine. So if inserted magazine equals null, then we return. No, we don't run in edit mode. Dum-dum. We return. There we go. And then if the inserted magazine dot unload, I need a different word than unload. I don't like unload. Chamber? No. What is the word? Says the person who's just claimed they're a gun expert. What is the word? Well, this ties in with my literary genius, my literary incompetence. What is the word for chambering around? But I don't want chambering. I want like removing from the magazine, removing the bullet from the magazine. What is that word? Engage. Deload. Deload sounds right. Unload? Deload? We're unloading the magazine, which means we're loading the gun. Oh, it's just confusing. Unchamber. Remove bullet from magazine. Yes, that is the proper CGI for it. Okay, so if unload, so if we'll make this false and then we return. So if we can't unload, then we'll return. So this should check for a bullet, and if there is a bullet, it will automatically unload it. So it's kind of like a pop. We'll do this. We'll just rename it to pop. There we go. We'll do a C# term, not a gun term. That makes more sense. So insert mag pop. We'll do pop round, which sounds like something. It sounds like the round's exploding in the gun, which is not something we want to happen. Detach. There's so many words. Naming's the hardest. Naming is the hardest thing in programming. Okay, so we're first checking to see if there is a magazine at all. If there is a magazine inserted, then we are going to carry on, and then we're going to pop around. We'll do that because that's like the NQ, DQ, pop, and what's the anti-pop on a stack. I don't know. You guys will know. so basically we have a magazine and the magazine has a round. Then we can check to see if we hit anything with that round is basically the idea here. And then we would also want to play like a play click sound or something like that. So I'll actually, what's going on? Actually do this. I'm gonna do like play click sound. Come back to that and then return. So if it's false, if there's no magazine, technically it shouldn't do anything, but we can also play click sound. So we'll just combine them. Inserted mag equals null, and then we'll just do this. There we go. Simpler. So if we have no mag or the mag has no bullets, we will play click sound and then return. Why would the player be unloading bullets anyway? Well, I was kind of, and this is the problem with thinking ahead, because usually what you should do is do the simplest thing possible in the code for that particular moment, and then you come back and change it when you need to do anything else. You shouldn't plan ahead, is the general idea or consensus with all this. Develop for the current problem, not for future problems. So what I was doing was developing for future problems. Ooh, feed's a good one. Mag.feed. I like that. Yeah, that's the right word. Good job. Feed that gun. I like it. Good job, Hexalad. Good suggestion. We'll go with that one. All the rest of you are useless. All right. So I don't even know what was I talking about. I was just so excited about Hexlad's feed suggestion. forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah. So what I was thinking about was giving the user the ability to load the magazines outside of the gun or unload the magazines. So in Into the Radius, it's a super detailed survival game, and so you can loot boxes of mags, and the boxes will have like a random amount of bullets in them, and then you have to retain the mag. So like after you like shoot, if you hold the reload button, the magazine release, it's a genius mechanic, and I need to make a video about this. But if you hold the magazine release, it won't fully eject. It will just halfway eject, so that you can grab it and put it in your pocket, and so you don't lose it. Because if you fully eject the magazine, you don't get a new one. Like, it's not like Call of Duty where you just have endless magazines. It's the magazines are like retained, and so you only get like 2 or 3 or however many you scavenge, and so you can only do quick reloads for that many magazines. And then you gotta like go find a corner, and you take your box of bullets that you brought with you, and you stick it on the top of the which is not the most realistic reloading mechanic, but it works for VR. You stick the bullet box connected to the magazine, and it will load in bullets into the magazine, which is really, really cool. Like, I love it. It's a brilliant mechanic. And then I think you can do the opposite too. I'm not quite sure how. I haven't played it I actually haven't played the second one. Is the second one even out yet? I think it is. But yeah, so that's the idea. I was future planning when I shouldn't have been. So you shouldn't even have to unload or load, but so those will probably not ever actually be used in this project, but it was a cool thought as I was doing it, so it's there now. Okay, let's see. We need audio. We need to add audio, but I don't have it set up, and I don't have any audio scripts or audio clips, audio scripts. So we won't add audio yet, but we'll have it. We'll add it as a to do. Yeah, to do. There we go. And now it changes colors in my editor. Okay, I think. What else do we need to do for this to actually work? I think we should be good. Let's set a initial amount of bullets. So we'll say max bullets is equal to, let's say we have 12 balloons you need to pop. So let's do 6. That sounds right. 6 bullets. So if you're perfect, you only have to do 1 reload. But if you're not perfect, if your accuracy is not perfect, you have to do 2 reloads. That's how we're going to do this. And then we'll set the current bullets to also be 6 initially. And then back to Unity. And then I think we just need to set the magazine to have the mag script. So we'll go into the prefab, make sure the mag behavior is on here. And then we've got 6 and 6. Beautiful. And then I don't think we need to change anything in the gun. Let's see. Oh, we need to attach the socket. So we'll go here. This is the socket we want. Yes. Okay, cool. And then I will click on this mag. Well, I'll click on this mag because that's what we're going to use. And then every time I shoot, we should see that go down. We also, one thing we need to do is at the very beginning on start with the gun, we need to also make sure we need to just see if the socket has anything already on it. So socket interactor is selecting active, and if it is, so we'll do if socket interactor is selecting active, then we want to go ahead and set the inserted mag is going to be equal to the socket interact. So no, not that socket interactor, blah, blah, blah. And then where are you? What are we gonna call interactables? Interactable selected. Oh, there we go. Starting selected interactable. There we go. And then we'll do dot transform dot get component and then mag behavior. Beautiful. I think that should work. Or maybe we'll just do starting select interactable is not equal to null. That seems better. Was I on GDG's dev stream? Yeah, I was hanging out with him a little bit. That was fun. I did see you over there, No Sleep Kid. Welcome over. Do you just peruse all the YouTube dev streams? I've seen you around a bunch. I think that's just what you do on the side, just hanging out with all the streamers, which I appreciate. All right, this should all work. All right, what are you saying? Invert if. Sure. No, I don't want to do that. I normally do like early returns, but not in the start method, because we can add other things into the start method. Yes, you're bored a lot. You need that excitement, and somebody developing another program is the excitement that really gets you going. That's the hit you need. You're having a buggy ray interaction when it kind of flickers when you're directly pointing at it. Do I have any ideas? What SDK or toolkit are you using? Are you using the XR Interaction Toolkit or are you using Metas? Because Metas is difficult. Metas SDK is just harder to deal with. The XR Interaction Toolkit is relatively simple, and that's why I recommend most people start with it. It's because it is much easier. Okay. Yes, we just set that up, so it should automatically grab the mag at the beginning. So let's see if this actually works. All right, you should automatically connect. Yep, there we go. Beautiful. I'll say it again because it's amazing. But if you don't know, there is a setting. If you go to settings and then all the way down to advanced, there's a setting, if you scroll all the way down again, there's a setting that will automatically launch link mode in wireless. So if you go over and set link mode to be wireless, so when you put the headset on, when it wakes up, it'll automatically jump into link mode. It's beautiful. Using XR Interaction Toolkit 3.0.7. Oh, that's the one that I'm using. Okay. Yeah, we may investigate that after I test this real quick. Buggy ray interaction. All right. All right, so we have current bullets of 6 right now, so shoot. Still have current bullets of 6. Shoot. Shoot, 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 shoot. Okay. There is an issue. So the current bullets is not going down. So it's shooting the sparkly effects, but it's not actually shooting it's not popping the balloons. What's going on? All right, let's try reloading. Whoa. Oh, I need to adjust that too. Boop. Oh, you're still parented? Rude. All right. Something's wrong. Let's see. What could it be? Oh, buggy ray interaction for flickers when you're pointing directly at it. Oh, does anybody else in the chat have any ideas for that one? That's an interesting one. Honestly, I can't think of a reason that would be happening. Unity's VR stuff, like the UI, is actually pretty decent. So if we go over to scenes, main menu, where are you? You're all the way over here. So what I normally do, and actually ran into an issue when I was creating this main menu, is I made it way too small. So this might be the first thing to look at, is make sure that your UI canvas, whatever you make your canvas on, is at a decent like height and width. Like do something that's semi close to like 1920 by 1080. And so this is like almost it's basically half of that. So yeah, just make sure your canvas, the actual width and height are something reasonable, like something that's close to like a screen. So like 1920 by 1080 is kind of a good reference. I think for this one I did 1920 times 1080, and then I just divided it by 2. So actually, yeah, it's half of a 1920 by 1080, which actually I probably should expand this. And then I scaled it down from there, like the main canvas, and then everything else underneath should be set to scale of 1. So you only scale the canvas, and then everything else is set to a scale of 1. And if you want to make it bigger or smaller, you make it bigger or smaller in the height and width of whatever it is. And that, so I did run into issues where I had a button that I had scaled to like 0.1 underneath here, and the raycast wasn't hitting it correctly because for some reason the scale was throwing the actual collider off. And so that might have been the issue. Yeah, so if you're so let's see, what's the size of this button here? Yeah, so this button is 150 by 60. So like I could only fit like 1, maybe 2 buttons into that canvas. So a 223 by 163 canvas. So I might try just adding in like a 0 to that canvas, and then going through and looking at all the child components and making sure they're set to 1. Also, are multiple interactors trying to interact with the same interactable? That could be another issue. If you have multiple interactors on your hand, on your controller. So over here, so we've got left controller, right controller. So we've got the near far interactor. If you've accidentally duplicated that somehow, that also might be causing issues. Also, yeah, UI interaction, block UI on interactable. This might be a good setting to make sure you have checked. So this will like make the ray be in front of the UI instead of behind it or some weird behavior there. So that should be checked as well. Colliders might be too thin, colliders might be overlapping. Yeah, those are really good suggestions from Beard. But yeah, see the collider here on my button, and then this is set to see, not the text, but the button front here. Actually, no, just the interactable here. Huh. Interesting. What I'm looking at is this raycast target. So if you want the whatever object to be clickable, this raycast target needs to be checked. So it's just on the button itself, which has a reference to the image. I need to double check this. I'm not sure how this is actually working. Unless it's the text. Interesting. This works. I've tried it, but I don't know why this raycast target on a turned off image is the one that's actually grabbing the raycast, because that one's turned off, that one's turned off, that one's turned off, and the text might be grabbing it. Yeah, there we go. It's the text that's actually grabbing it. So that also maybe another thing is if your text is cropped in, so like my text boundaries, the really tiny 1 pixel wide yellow line going all the way around, if that's brought in and like actually cropped small, the raycast of my line is not going to hit anywhere except for where the text is. So that could be another issue. Yeah, so just like check this raycast target box on like the background or whatever. Yeah, that was fine originally. Cool. All right, so our gun is not using any bullets or shooting, apparently. Well, it is shooting because the particle effect is going off. So let's go see what we missed. So here, I'll make it a little bit smaller so y'all can actually see some of the text a little better, maybe. Yeah, I think I had it. Maybe I had it too zoomed in. What time is it? Oh, we got about 20 minutes left. I try to do this for like 2 hours, but if I go more than 2 hours, my wife gets mad at me because she can't go to sleep until I am also there. So just have someone in the bed in order to sleep. All right, so what is happening? We're going to add a bunch of debug log statements. So whenever the inserted mag is going to be inserted, we want to debug log. Then we'll do current mag equals inserted mag. Oh, I don't need the, yeah, there we go. This. And then let's see. There we go. And there we go. Socket entered. And then socket exited. Just adding in debug log statements everywhere. Also in Writer, something that you may not know. If you go to plugins, not plugins, that's not what I want. If you go to actions on save, this is a very helpful one. If you just look up reformat and clean up code, it is very, very nice. Just check that box. I check that on all of my projects. So I can go here and just like, add in some weird spaces and like add in some like weird gaps and stuff, and then I save it and it cleans everything up. Well, maybe not this one, but I don't usually do that. But it like aligns everything and resets it all up for me. It's very, very nice. So every time I save, it does that. Okay, so we're grabbing the current mag every time, and then every time we shoot, I want to check. So if the mag is null, or we don't feed, I feel like this might be. We might break this into. We're gonna break this into two. We're going to do a public bool has rounds if let's just return current bullets is greater than 0. And then we're not going to, we're just going to separate this because I think that's what's being confusing. And then this is going to be here just in case, but it should always return. So if we're greater than or equal to 0, that's the issue. That is my issue right there. If we are less than or equal to 0, we need to return. That was the issue, but we are going to separate it just so it makes more sense. So we did find it. Okay, so if has round, then we gonna return. If not, we're going to do insert a mag.feed, because that will make more sense. Kind of separate. That's another thing that that clean code book that I showed last week on stream. They suggest doing this so functions do one thing, and so this function that we had originally was doing two things. It was responding of, do we have bullets or not? And then it was also taking a bullet out, which if somebody else was coming to this project and didn't know it and wasn't you guys and watching it, then they would have no idea that a bullet was also being taken out, or they would have no idea if it was returning true or false. So we kind of separate them. So we ask to see if there is a round. If there is a round, then we will feed. So that makes more sense. Now I think it should work. I don't know why it was playing it was playing the particle animation because the particle animation is set up in the, we should probably adjust that as well. So in the gun, we want to also have the particle system. And then we'll call this muzzle flash. And then every time we shoot, we're going to feed, raycast. We hit a balloon, we pop. And then this one's muzzle flash dot play. Set play state. Playback state. I wanna reset it. I don't actually know the command to reset a particle system because I want it to be able to be like pew 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 pew. Also, I didn't reset that. There we go. I didn't want to. It's not like a restart. Reset. No, just play. Play. There we go. All right, we'll do that. And now the muzzle flash will only play if we actually are able to shoot, which makes more sense. And then inside of the XR grab interactable on the shoot action down here, we can get rid of the particle system. And then back in the gun, we can just add in the particle system, which is going to be under muzzle confetti. And then it looks like the mag is still being parented. So we're gonna have to fix that as well. So let's apply all of that. And then we're just going to, yeah, we open the prefab and then just delete this mag, I guess. And we'll go back out and we'll say that the other mag is going to be the one that we start with. I don't like that. Starting mag is this, and then we want to grab this component and set this to the same transform. Paste values. Oh, that didn't work at all. But no, we want to align these. In order to do that, we have to do math. This is why I wanted to have it underneath like this. Okay, undo. There we go. We will find another way. So in the socket, is there a parent option? Maybe there's a parent option in this guy. Retain transform parent. What is this? Whether to set the parent of the object back to its original parent this object was child to after the object is dropped. No. That's what we want to change. Beautiful. Okay. Retain transform parent. No. All right, that should solve our parent issues. So now we can drag that underneath the mag socket. Yes, there we go. And then starting select a mag. Okay, beautiful. Very nice. How's the stream going? Did you guys fall asleep? Still got people on Twitch? Still got people on YouTube? Nice. Let's see, do we have anyone X actually? I'm just always so curious. Are people actually watching on X? Nobody actually comments if they're watching X. We've had 46 people view on X. I don't know if we have actually anyone live watching. I haven't seen any chats, so is what it is. Whatever. Oh, the comments aren't posting, are they? Let me go back to OBS. Oh, there we go. See ya, DJ Trollbot. I've got 10 more minutes too, and then I gotta go. Some censor happening in the subject matter? Maybe. Yeah, everybody's... All the streaming platforms are like, all right, you're talking about guns. We can't show you to anyone. This is forbidden knowledge. You guys found me though. Found me before I started talking about guns. So you can hang about. We're just not going to show your stream ever again to anyone else. It's VR, people. It's not real guns. Look how fake they look. All right. So that should solve all our problems. All our problems should be solved. We should be able to get this working beautifully now. Let me go back into the headset. Hit play again. A bouncy. Fun. My little boy's been on a Winnie the Pooh kick. Oh, I hit play too early. Did I? Yeah, I did. It's weirdly... Okay, there we go. Cool. All right. So, grab the gun. Let's... Wait, where's my mouse? There it is. All right. I want to find the mag. We got it. All right. We have... now we have 5? 4? Maybe? Oh, we're not... Was I just missing? All right, we have 0. So now when I shoot, nothing happens, no particle effects, Beautiful. And then I will take this out, drop it there, put this mag in, and then boom. There we go. 4, 5, 6. Nice. And then let's see, can I do the little cheat code where I take one out and put it back in? Nope, because the mags know how many bullets they had in them. That is the trick to that. Very nice. All right, so we just need to add like one, maybe 2 more magazines to the deck here, and we should be good to go. Nice, and they have like a fun little physics effect to them. Beautiful. And then I can select them. Oh, can I still drop the, oh, go back. Can I still drop the gun and do a tactical reload? Oh, yes, I can. That is something I do want to fix. Oh, and that was something we were going to fix in the magazine. Yes, I forgot about that. Woo. Okay, so yeah, so last thing we'll do on this stream is fix it so that you can only reload if you're holding the magazine. We don't want to be able to reload if you are just dropping the gun. So I think we're going to do that in the gun. Yes, I think when we do like the subscribe and stuff, yeah. Okay, so on select enter, on select exited. How are we gonna do this? All right, let me think about this for a second. So the magazine needs to be held, and so we need to access the interactables is selected, and then at that point we only let the socket grab it if it is selected. So we're gonna need to subscribe to the hover event as well. No. Yeah. Okay. I got it. I figured it out. So if the gun is being held, then, well, no, that's not going to work, because if the gun is being held, but you can still just like slam it on the ground and load a magazine. So, see you, Beard. Have a good dinner. So we want to, it needs to be on the mag itself. The mag should only be able to be socketed if it's grabbed. If it's also being held. So on the mag behavior, yeah, we need access to the grab interactable. So do serialized field. Whoa, why'd you go up down? Why'd you go down there? Private XR grab interactable. Grab interactable. Okay, and then we'll just grab that on. This doesn't even need to be. That can just be private. That's fine. Totally private. And then this is another thing. If you're ever going to do a get component in the start method, so down here we'll move the private variable, and then we're going to get it in start. So we'll do a private void. We'll actually get it on awake because it's attached to the same object. So awake, get component, grab interactable is going to be equal to get component, grab interactable. So if you're ever going to do this inside of the awake or start method, actually we'll just do it in the start. And we'll do it in the awake. See if we get errors, then whatever. Sure thing, Nathan. No problem. Oh, X. Somebody's talking on X. That's wild. We finally got, this is like our 5th stream. Nathan, welcome. I think you're our first chat from X. Amazing. It works. It does work. We haven't been able to test it until now. All right, where was I? Oh yeah, so if you're ever using that, if you're ever gonna do the get component, just make sure you do a require component up here. So require type of, and then whatever you're requiring. So grab interactable in this case. That way it'll automatically add it on the, thought you'd be a trendsetter. Yeah, it'll be fun. Eventually X will get bigger than Twitter. Who knows? Or no, X is already bigger than Twitter. X will get bigger than Twitch. Oh well. All right. So grab interactable. We want to be able to be grabbed by we want to be able to be grabbed by anything except for a socket interactable. If we're being hovered by a socket interactable, we want to check and see if we're also being grabbed at the same time. If we're not, we want to turn grabbing off. No. Gosh, this is a tricky one. Let's go back to Unity. I really feel like there should be I think in Hurricane VR there is a setting like this. I think that's why I'm getting it confused. But like I really just need there to be a setting that says don't let me be socketed if I'm being held or something like that. I only want to grab. Oh, that's what we're gonna do. Ah, yeah. Aha. We're changing the layers. That's what we're doing. That's how we're gonna do it. So, we're going to subscribe. We're gonna subscribe and start. Subscribe and start. So once we grab the interactable, we're going to subscribe to the on select. Select enter is, oh, it's just select enter now. Select entered dot add listener. And then we want to handle select entered. And then same thing for exited. Exited. And then exited. There we go. And then we'll create both of those methods. Beautiful. And then you go down here. Okay. So what we're gonna do, the plan is to basically we're gonna take the interactor tag off and on of the socket. So right now the interaction layer mask is mag2 and the interaction layer mask of the socket. So the socket is only allowed to grab things that are tagged with mag2. And so what we want to do is add mag2 to the list of interactables that that it can have. But we only want that to be in the list if it is I'm doing it in single player right now. I do want to come back and do it as a multiplayer. Like, so that's the game plan right now is to finish this up in single player, and then I might jump off and do like another project for a minute, and then I'll come back and add a multiplayer, or basically just redo it in multiplayer. And then also I want to come back closer to like Halloween and do a Halloween theme version of it too. I think would be fun. You have to prevent the ownership changing when it's being grabbed. So the socket is acting well. So the magazine is going to listen for when it's grabbed, and if it is being grabbed currently, it's going to add a layer to itself. So we'll say whatever layer we want. So because we want to be able to reuse this component for any type of mag. So we're just going to interactable layers, interaction layer mask. There we go. That's what we want. and then we'll do interaction layer mask. So we'll have the user, me, set it, and the designer set whatever layers we want to add. And on select enter. So on select enter, we will add the layers. So we'll do the grabbable, the grab interactable interaction layers is going to be plus equals interaction. Let's see, what are you? You are, what is the interaction layer mask, like the base layers? And can we set it is another question. Interaction layer mask. What are you? Your bits. That's gonna be annoying. I have to do like a stupid bit shift thing. Okay. We'll get around it by doing this. We'll do private interaction layer mask. We'll do the default layer mask. That way we know like what it originally is when it's set, which should just be default. And then this one is going to be, we'll rename it to like held layer mask. So like what it's supposed to be when it is held, and then we'll just swap back and forth. That way we don't have to worry about any like bit shift stuff. See you, Nathan. Thanks for jumping in. Chris, yeah, it would be cool and spooky. Yeah, it would be fun. Like I kind of just want to show like how you should do a content update for just like a themed thing. I think would be cool. Like how do I add in, come back in and just change all of the, or some of the just graphical elements to make it a little more spooky, change the music and audio and stuff, but still have most of the gameplay be similar and kind of create a themed event and then revert back to the original after the theme is over. A big cool kind of use case there. All right, so also in the start, we are going to, after we get the grab interactable, we're going to set the default layer mask equal to the grab interactable dot layer interaction layers. Cool. And then we'll just toggle back and forth instead of doing weird bit shift stuff. So this, when we enter, so when we are getting selected, we want to set the interaction layers to be the held layers. And then when we exit, we want the grab interactable interaction layers to be set to the default layer mask. There we go. And now, since we have the socket gated to only have that particular magazine's interaction or whatever, it should not allow us to drop the gun and do a tactical reload. Can you do this in Unreal Engine? Yes, you can. Not the specific step-by-steps that I'm doing here, but it's I honestly think that you can do it in Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is just a lot less user-friendly, developer-friendly than Unity. So Unity, you start with this toolkit. So this right here, this XR Origin rig. So this is a prefab. I think they call it like a pawn or an actor in Unreal, or a blueprint actually is there. The blueprint is the equivalent to a prefab. Blueprint is different than the blueprint system, which is very confusing. The blueprint system is their like drag and drop coding coding system. The blueprint is a prefab. That's the same word in Unreal and in Unity. So this prefab is like it's a prefabricated like set of actors, I guess, or in Unity game objects, pawns actually in Unreal. Unreal doesn't have this. They have a very, very basic VR rig that you can start with, but I don't think they have as nice and clean templates as we have here. Also, I think C# is just significantly easier to code in. And I've just been doing Unity for more than 7 years now. And so Unity just kind of comes naturally to me. I don't want to go and learn a new game engine. Unreal calls to me because it's just so beautiful, but the amount of the nice to haves that are in Unity are just, it's so nice to be able to, have a lot of this like easy stuff in here that I wouldn't be able to switch. It would be very difficult for me to swap over. I would say if you're looking to get into professional game development, like if you want to work for a AA, AAA company, I would learn Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is the standard, the industry standard for game development. Also, cinema and all that kind of stuff is going to be Unreal Engine because it just looks beautiful, and so it's all looks. If you want a really good looking game, Unreal Engine's the way to go. If you're more on a budget, not even on a budget, it's just easier for a one-man or small team to do stuff in Unity. And that's kind of the biggest differentiator. Also, the blueprint system in Unreal is very nice. If you don't want to like learn how to code, the blueprint system stuff works nice. But I would highly recommend Unity for anyone who's like an indie dev or a small indie team, just because of the Unity asset store and the way Unity's laid out I think it's just a lot easier for a one person or small team to get up and running, whereas Unreal kind of requires large teams to work in if you're gonna do stuff well. It's just more complicated, I think. But I've only just dabbled in Unreal. I'll like dabble in it every so often when like someone puts out a new tech demo. I'll like jump into it and then I'll be like, oh, I want to jump over here just because honestly it looks so pretty. But Unity is a lot easier to optimize. It's a lot easier to just get a project out the door. You want to start your own company which will develop games and VR or XR in the future. Yeah, highly recommend. And honestly, like I'll say Unity because all my tutorials are in Unity, my whole course is in Unity, but both of them, you really just have to pick one and go with it. You will find, something I will say is you will find more tutorials for Unity than you will find tutorials for Unreal. You can still find a decent amount of tutorials for Unreal, but most of the tutorials, like I'd say it'd be like even like 80 to 20 or even 70 to 30 amount of more on Unity tutorials than you will find Unreal tutorials, especially for VR stuff. Probably even more lopsided for VR, especially since I'm going to be cranking out tutorials this year. My plan is at least one a week, but here's my stack of cards for all the tutorial ideas that I have gotten from my Q&As and just talking with people over the last 2 weeks. So I'm planning on doing at least one a week, but if I can get more, if they're like smaller tutorials, I'm going to be doing multiples. When will I be developing apps for smart glasses? When I buy a smart glass device. I want to buy like the X-Real are cool. My boss has a Vision Pro and it's beautiful. I do not have a Vision Pro because it's going to cost me $8,000 to start developing for Vision Pro stuff, because I have to buy the $3,500 headset. I have to buy a $2,000 Mac computer. I have to buy a $2,000 Unity license. It's kind of expensive to get started with the Vision Pro stuff. We will not accept an excuse that your dog ate them. Yes, that's why I put them on paper and not digital, so I can just feed them to the dog. I do need to probably write them down somewhere just in case, because my kid does like to draw on, I don't know if y'all can see this, my kid does like to draw on the papers. So he will come and like, he wants to do working. So I literally will unplug my keyboard and turn my mouse off, and he'll like smack on it. He likes to play around with it. Okay, let's do a test, see if this works. And then I might call it a night if it works. If it doesn't work, we will build until morale improves. Loading. What are your thoughts on console dev in Unity? I mean, I think it's doable. You just have to optimize. That's the hard part. And so consoles will have, so like PlayStation, you have to get greenlit first before you can even start to, before they'll even give you their SDK. And so, but you can do it. Like Unity has good tools for it. All right. So what we were trying to do is, oh, why are you doing that? That's weird. That's really weird. Ooh. So maybe we did the opposite of what we needed to do. Why are you being weird? Ooh. It's just following, and it technically is still socketed. We out of bullets. Why are you the way you are? Can I put another one in here? Oh, so this one. Oh, maybe we did the opposite. Wait, where? Okay, hold on. Something's weird. All right, let's see if I paused it in time. I want to see the interaction layers. We have both of these. Oh, I know. So I did not set the interaction layers on either of. So this needs to get dropped back to nothing. So basically just default. That's fine. And then the gun layer mask needs to be this and default. That's what I missed. So when I was grabbing it, it was turning all of the interaction layer mask off. And so it was behaving very weird. So now, wait, I need to override that as well. Yes. Okay. Now it should work. It should work perfectly. It would never work on the first time, but it should work perfectly on the second time, because I am close to perfect. Not all the way perfect. Okay. So I can grab that out, put a new one in, beautiful. And then if I take this out and then drop it, no, oh, dang it. Hold on. All right, what are you currently? We were so close. We were so close to perfection. Okay. You're currently our general grab transformer. Oh, I guess I need to add that. That's also a new thing with the 3.0 toolkit, is you get this general grab transformer, and if you don't add it, it will automatically add one and let you move it wherever you want. But you can basically use this to say, I don't want this to move on certain axes or rotate on certain axes. Or like, how do you want the two-handed interaction to work? So if you want something like, if you're doing a chessboard, you can actually go in here and uncheck the Y axis, and then you can only move stuff on the X and Z axis, which is actually pretty cool. So that's a neat little trick there. It's always crazy when something works first try in game dev. It is wild when something works perfectly first time. Yeah, it would be nice if something worked perfectly first time. Okay, so that can go away. So this is dropped and has not been set back to the way we want it. Interesting. But it will let me... Huh. Okay, so... Oh, wait a minute. We're starting out incorrect. I think that's why. That's the issue. They're all starting out incorrect. Okay, hold on. What about you? Okay, you're fine. So it was the, so if I had picked any of the other ones, it would have worked, I think. But just this one was not set up correctly. Okay, the prefab for some reason didn't apply to all the prefabs because I had already messed with that one and not changed it back apparently, so. Now it'll work. Third time's a charm. Or 3 strikes and you're out. Whichever one is the one that's supposed to be. Whichever one matches your skill level. All right. So, we can grab that. Oh, that's. Oh. Huh. Interesting. So now we need to, it lets me grab it. It lets me hold it up there. It will accept it because it's blue. It's not red. But the moment I let go, I'm no longer holding it. So we need to do a second check in the codes. We need to do a second check for, we only want to swap to this if we're not also hovering in a select interactable. Okay. So we'll do private bool is hovering. Yeah, I think. Okay, and then we will also subscribe to the grab interactables on hover enter. So grab interactable, hover entered, add listener, handle hover entered, and then same thing for exited, exited, exited. And then inside of these two, we will see if we are hovering in a grabbable or a see if we're hovered in a socket. If we are hovered in a socket, then we'll set this to true. So arg dot interactor object is, how do we check if it's a socket? We cast it as XR socket interactor. Can we do that? Is, can we do is var test. Aha, that does work. Okay, cool. So we can do is hovering. I'll change this to args because that's the way I like it. Okay, so if we are hovering, or is hovering is going to be equal to if the object that is hovering over us is a socket interactor. And then when hover exits, we are going to change that to false. That goes as this just is false regardless. Well, no. This is going to be question mark false, or we'll just set it back to whatever it originally is, and then you want to do this. Okay. Is not socket interactor and is hovering. Sure, that makes sense. No, that doesn't make sense. We're gonna change it back, writer. What are your thoughts on VR multiplayer, and what is your favorite SDK if you have one? Here's Photon Pun. So I haven't actually, I've used Pun, I've used a little bit of Fusion, and I've used netcode for game objects, and I kind of find netcode for game objects is the simplest, and so that's generally the one I lean to. I haven't done as much multiplayer coding as I would like both of the projects, the released projects that I've worked on, well, and the one I'm working on for work, all are multiplayer, but most of the time I'm not tinkering around in the actual multiplayer code side of things. I'm tinkering around in the functionality mechanic side of things. That's my specialty. My bread and butter is how to make things function, how to make some action happen is what I'm good at. And so literally this kind of stuff. So I want to do a little more in-depth dive into, I want to go through a couple tutorials about netcode and pun and fusion, and actually figure out which one I like the best. But I just haven't gone too in-depth on any of them yet. So also this needs to have an underscore in front of it. Naming conventions. Okay, and now since we have is hovering, we can set this to the default layer mask if we're not hovering. So if is hovering is false. If we are hovering, then we want to return. No, return. Yeah. So if we let go of the object, but we are still hovering over a socket interactable, we don't want to reset the layers. We want the layers to still be the same. And so they should get automatically dropped into the magazine should catch it then, because we're not resetting layers. Okay, that should be the last little piece of the puzzle there. Man, this is going to be complicated for me to come back and do a tutorial about. How am I going to do that? This is probably the most complicated thing we've done in this project so far, is literally just preventing the sockets from auto grabbing when I drop the gun. Okay, so grabbing. Oh, it almost worked. Come on. No. It literally attaches and then boop. Come on. Okay. Hold on. Let's see if. How am I gonna? Okay, there we go. I'm gonna pause it right here. No, I didn't need to pause it there because I know what that is. So we know what the layers are here. It's gonna be mixed. But this layer is default. This layer is default, and so that's all correct. But then we let go, technically, actually, okay, yeah. So let's go to debug, and then is hovering is false. Is hovering should be true at this moment. So that's the issue. Is hovering is not being correctly set. So let's go back here. So on, oh, these are backwards. I thought this was entered and this was exited, but they are not. They are backwards. So I literally just have to do this. Normally I always put entered first, but when I auto created the methods, they were backwards. Okay, that should work now. They were just backwards. We're so close. I can feel it. This is the 5th time's the try. Fifth time's the charm. 5th time is a try. You're not wrong. Aha! Beautiful. Nice. And then the only kind of exception was at the beginning there. It did not auto have the it did not auto grab the socket, so we have to fix that somehow. So that works. Beautiful. How are we going to auto grab the socket? So at the very beginning, you've tried to solve this exact problem many times before and never succeeded, so thank you. Of course, no problem. This is literally why I'm making this, so I can teach it in a tutorial. All right, last thing. We want, if a mag is auto grabbed, okay, that should be, getting into this weird bit thing. Okay, let's try this. So over in the gun, this is where the auto grabbing stuff happens. So the inserted mag becomes this. So we just need a mag behaviors. We want to be able to access this. So we'll do a public interaction layer mask held layer mask, and it's going to be equal to held layer mask like that. So now we can, this basically just says we can publicly access this variable by calling this variable. So now over here, we are going to set the socket interactor dot, what are we doing? Starting selected interactable. Starting selected interactable dot interaction layers is going to be equal to the inserted mag dot held layer mask. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll automatically set the layers to the correct one for the initial one, and then it should auto grab it up right at the beginning, and that should be everything, including the weird edge cases, all set up. And then I gotta go to bed. Hopefully this works. Dun dun dun. Okay, so it should stay like that. Aha! And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I miss 6? Okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice. And then 1, 2. And then let's pause it. Check to see how many bullets are in each magazine. So this one has 0 bullets left. Good. That one has 0 bullets, and this one has 4 left. Perfect. Beautiful. Sweet. Yeah, I think that's that. I think we'll wrap it up there. I appreciate you guys all for hanging out with me. I think next time we are going to set it up so next time we're going to set up the other gun. So this one with the physics. So we'll probably abstract. So everything we wrote so far is in the raycast version of the gun. So we have 2 versions of the gun. We have a raycast and we have a physics version of the gun. The next stream tomorrow, at the same time, 2.5 hours previously from now, I'll be doing this again if you want to come hang out. So the next time we're going to abstract out a lot of the similarities between both guns, so the raycast gun and the physics gun, and make a abstract gun class to handle a lot of that kind of stuff, and then, or just a parent gun class, and then we'll get the physics gun working, and then we'll get the pump action stuff working. So I want to have it so right now you can dual hand the guns, and I'll put it over here so you can actually pull this out. So this guy will pull out and in, and so I want to have it so that you have to pump it every time you want to shoot, and I think that'll be cool. So we'll do that next time. So tomorrow we'll abstract out the gun class, and then we will try to get pump action working, which will be fun. We'll do that with an animation, probably. Actually, we'll do an animation and a blend tree. So we'll do an out animation and an in animation, and we do a blend tree between them. And then the blend tree is just going to be calculated by the distance between, well, really just the distance between the hand and then the start point or the end point. I think that's how we'll do it. So we'll do that tomorrow. Cool. I appreciate y'all. Let's see. Can we do raids? Maybe I should try to do a raid today. I haven't quite figured out how to do raids yet. I don't even know any. All right. If you watch other streams on Twitch, so we have a few people on Twitch. If you watch other streams on Twitch, drop like the name of someone you like on Twitch. I don't even know if I can do raids from YouTube. Yeah, I don't think so. You can edit. I think is there like a, let's see. You guys don't have anyone here. I'll go on Twitch and see who all is streaming right now. Nobody interesting. No, that'll be a project for next time. I'll get like raids and stuff figured out. I think that'll be the last little key into my whole streaming stuff. Also on YouTube, I wonder, I could set it up beforehand before I started. Oh, here we go. Redirect videos from other channels. Huh, nobody's live. So I could send YouTube to another video too, which is cool. We'll figure that out next time. Cool. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. I will see you tomorrow. Go in.